Good evening. I'm Athletic Director Phil Eston, and welcome to an annual tradition, a night as special as any throughout the year, the St. Thomas Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Tonight, we honor those who have etched their name into the history books when they attended this great university, commemorated by once again raising their accomplishments against the best who have ever donned the purple and gray. From the trailblazers and barrier breakers to the leaders and legends, you'll relive decades of history that have unfolded on the corners of Cretin and Summit Avenues, while celebrating alongside those who have built the foundation on which we enjoy today's success. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's a privilege to be here tonight as we share stories about and celebrate in honor of so many tremendous individuals and teams, ushering them into the most exclusive of company, the Tommie Athletics Hall of Fame. Congratulations to all of our honorees as well as those prior inductees who have joined us tonight. I hope you enjoy the program, and roll Tommie.
Please do continue on with your dinner. We'll ask that you get the conversations on all eyes up here, right? When you do win your award and you get at your banquet, or your, I promise I did not have anything to drink with dinner. I'm just not used to getting these things. So when you get one of these things here, just come up this way is what I'm trying to say so that they can take your picture. Don't come up this way. This is bad. This way, good. And if you're a true Hall of Famer, you'll remember that, okay? Welcome to the class of 2023, the University of St. Thomas Athletic Hall of Fame. We're really excited that everybody's here. Congratulations to our newest inductees, their families, friends. We have a lot of other special guests present. So if you are already a member of the Athletic Hall of Fame here at St. Thomas, please stand so that we may recognize you. We'd also like to recognize all of our esteemed St. Thomas members of the coaching staffs, current and former coaches. Please stand so that we may recognize you. Some of you guys are double dipping. I see you standing and also in the Hall of Fame. All right, I love that. All right, now if you would please also join me in welcoming up to the stand the University of St. Thomas President Rob Vischer. He'll say a few words. President.
Thanks, Corbu. Welcome, everyone. We are so glad that you are here this evening. I want to thank you for your support of St. Thomas Athletics. I want to thank the selection committee who had a lot of hard decisions this year and put in a lot of work to this process. And I especially want to thank and congratulate our inductees. You have been powerful models for what we aspire to be at St. Thomas. As you know, there are a lot of changes in St. Thomas Athletics. We are moving from Division III to Division I, and that is a heavy lift. It's a big change, but it's a change that's made possible because we are building on excellence. We've had excellence at St. Thomas for decades, and that propels us into the future. Everybody in this room, to some extent, has been connected to the very proud past of St. Thomas Athletics. And I hope that you will walk with us into a very bright future for St. Thomas Athletics. The reason this change matters so much is because of what is not changing. What is not changing is the St. Thomas mission. What is not changing is our aspiration for every student athlete at St. Thomas. And what is not changing is needed more than ever. It's needed more than ever in Division I athletics, which is becoming more and more transactional. It's needed more than ever in the state of Minnesota as we attract more workforce and young professional leaders to our state. But most of all, it's needed more than ever for our students. And we're very grateful for you walking with us on this journey. So what is our aspiration in St. Thomas Athletics? Well, I can tell you what it's not. We don't aspire for the years at St. Thomas to be the best years of our student athletes' lives. Whenever I hear someone tell an 18-year-old that their best years in life are going to end by the time they reach 22, I want to just wave my arms and say, no, no, no. We want our student athletes' years at St. Thomas to be awesome and memorable. But awesome and memorable because of what they have prepared them to become, what they prepared them to do. Of course, we're proud of what our student athletes do on the court and in the field and in the weight room and on the track. But we're so much prouder of what they do after they walk out through the arches and into the world. Of the spouses, of the dads, the moms, the grandpas, the grandmas, the neighbors, the business leaders, the community leaders, the engaged citizens that they become. So what is our aspiration for student athletes at St. Thomas that has persisted through all of our 138 years? It's the same aspiration that we have for every student who sets foot on our campus, that they will emerge from their time at St. Thomas with the unshakable knowledge that they are loved, that their lives have purpose, that their work has meaning, that they are uniquely gifted to make irreplaceable contributions to our world. At the end of the day, St. Thomas is not in the business of football or baseball or hockey or mechanical engineering or nursing or entrepreneurship. At the end of the day, St. Thomas is in the business of formation. We are developing leaders for tomorrow who will contribute to their families and contribute to their communities. It's why athletics is so important to what we do, because it is such a powerful embodiment of our commitment to form the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. The future of St. Thomas athletics is bright. I hope you will continue walking this journey with us. The work matters more than ever. Thanks for being here tonight. Roll Toms.
Well said, and I'm not just saying that because you're the president. That actually was really good. I think all the coaches would also agree that they love seeing their former student athletes grow up and become outstanding human beings. So outstanding to see everybody here and to see everybody come back, and also fun to celebrate what you did do while you were here, having the second best times of your lives. Founded in 1974, the University of St. Thomas Athletic Hall of Fame recognizes and honors those individuals who have distinguished themselves and the university through athletic participation and have contributed in a significant way to the vision and mission of the university. Throughout the years, our new inductees, current Athletic Hall of Fame members, coaches, and athletic staff have pushed the limits to accomplish amazing things and build the St. Thomas Athletic Program into what it is today. The groundwork laid by these amazing men and women have resulted in national team titles, national individual champions, and countless university awards. This year, we induct 4 alumni and 2 teams. Each inductee receives a personalized Athletic Hall of Fame award with their name, induction year, and sport or title. And which direction do you come to pick those up? Very good, thank you. Okay, good, good. And while there are too many accolades and accomplishments to list them all here this evening, we're going to do our best. You can always find more information on our class of 2023 and all previous classes as well on tommiesports.com. So, with no further ado, the class of 2023. Joining Aaron to present the award is football head coach Glenn Caruso. Very good, Aaron. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Great job, Corbu. To everyone who set this up, thank you so much. I know it takes a lot of people to do this, so grateful that we can celebrate our ancestors and the people who allow us the foundation. But it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you Aaron Benner. Aaron played from 1987 to 1991. He was a wide receiver and a kick returner, did a lot of different things here. When he graduated, among graduation, he was in the top 5 all time. We'd almost played 100 years of college football at that point, of being in tops of leading receiver, receiving yards, all-purpose yards, and kick return, punt return yards. Top 5 of all those. His senior year, he led his team to a MIAC Conference championship on the way to being one of only 2 people who had 1,000 yards receiving in a single season. Now, although I didn't expect to speak about this, when we're coming up in the elevator, who's with us, Aaron? Who's with us? Ryan Davis. Ryan Davis was number 3 in 1997 to have 1,000 yards in a season. And in the elevator, in the 30 seconds we have when we're coming up, Ryan turns to Aaron and says, "Thank you for what?" Ryan, where are you? What did you say thank you to him for? He wrote me a letter saying, "Thank you for upholding and beating my record, and I'm grateful that you're a Tommie." I'm paraphrasing, but not by a lot, right? Every bit of Tommie. But when you ask him what his favorite thing is about his time at St. Thomas, he would tell you it is once again at graduation a record 39 games started over the course of 4 years, which is incredible. He played 1 year of high school sports, 1 year of high school football, a local product, St. Agnes, from right up the road. I said, "How'd you get here?" He goes, "The same way everybody else did in the 80s and 90s, Steve Fritz." True. Coach Fritz, who was doing everything, I mean, he was running concessions along with being the basketball coach and athletic director and admissions, was the one who you said, correct me if I'm wrong, and please correct me, he was the most authentic and genuine guy that came in to recruit me. Is that fair to say? Correct. So all of those reasons are reasons to appreciate and to like what Aaron has done. I will leave you with this, a reason to love what Aaron has done for this university. Fast forward 25 years. He doesn't look like it, but he's way old. He's like 50-something, right? Fast forward 25 years, and he's an educator at our local Catholic schools. And he's down the road at Cretin-Durham Hall. And one of his freshman students is our daughter, Anna Caruso. Well, dinner at the Caruso house is sometimes not like, "Hey, what are you listening to in music? And tell me about the boys you like." Caruso's dinners are, who are the 3 best leaders and why are they the 3 best leaders in your school? True story. About 3 months in, she's in 9th grade. Before I got the question mark out of my mouth, she said, "Mr. Benner." I said, "Why?" She said he's authentic, she said he's accountable, and she said he's approachable. And then she said, "What more do you want out of a leader?" She left me speechless, right? So as the generations pass, I think it's entirely St. Thomas that, yes, he's a great football player, he did wonderful things on the field out there, but isn't that exactly what President Bishop was just talking about? Taking your formation and leading the next generation in what you do. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming the newest member of the 2023 University of St. Thomas Athletic Hall of Fame, Aaron Benner.
Words can't even express how I feel right now. True story, I've been pinching myself ever since I got the call that I was in the Hall of Fame. I've been having dreams that I missed the ceremony. I've been having dreams that Tim Flynn, who's responsible for me being in the Hall of Fame, calls me up and says, we were just kidding, you're not in the Hall of Fame. So I've been really nervous. Even when I came here with my wife tonight, I was like, honey, we have to hurry up. Speaking of my wife, I know people are supposed to brag about their accomplishments when they enter the hall. You're not gonna hear me brag about anything that I've done on a football field, but I will brag about my wife. I will brag about my children. I'm 54 years old with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I have no idea what the hell I'm doing as a father. No clue. But that's the blessing. I look at my children every day, and God has a sense of humor. You know why? My oldest girl is a spitting image of me in all the wrong reasons. Georgina, I love you. Penelope, I love you. And Katie, thank you for being an awesome wife. I would have never thought I would be in the Hall of Fame. That was never my aspiration when I played. When Coach Caruso asked me what do I remember about the University of St. Thomas, it's the relationships. I think about Tim Flynn, who's here today with his beautiful wife. Tim Queenan. When I first saw Tim Queenan, I was like, gosh, he's handsome. He looks like Clark Kent. My gosh. Do you remember that, Tim? I know you remember that. I think about all my teammates, the friendships. I miss the old locker room. For those of you that don't remember, this was the old, the third floor gym. Our facilities weren't the best, but that's what we were about at St. Thomas. We worked hard. We didn't have the best facilities. We do now. And I like that the grit that we had. I used to jump on the rafters and do pull-ups in the locker room. St. Thomas has always been a part of my DNA. And I want to thank this university. You don't owe me anything. I owe you a lot. I received my bachelor's here in 1992. And I received my master's, and that's something that I thought I would never do. I hate it. I still hate writing papers. But to have my master's is something I thought I would never do, and that's something I'm so proud of. Some of my best accomplishments did happen on the football field. The first one, I graduated. This graduation ceremony was here in 1992. The second time was I came to a practice, and I think 2009, Coach Caruso invited me to a practice, and I came. And when I came to the practice, he stopped practice. Coaches don't do that. He stopped practice briefly, and he had his 3 All-Americans, wide receiver, the running back, and the quarterback. But I remember the wide receiver. His name was Fritz something. I don't remember, and he was a bad dude. That's my favorite receiver at St. Thomas. And Coach stopped practice, and these gentlemen came over to me, and they smiled, and they introduced themselves. And I was like, this is the coolest thing, meeting the next generation of athletes. And then they shook my hand and they ran, and the wide receiver Fritz, before he looked at me and he caught a ball with one hand and he was like, you see that? And I was like, I see you, I see you. Letting me know, yeah, you guys are good and they're much better than us. I want to say that I'm truly honored. The former teammates, I ran into Gary Treadle. He was an All-American running back. It was an honor to peel off in the games and knock off D-backs and get you extra yards, Gary. But you are short like me, and you used to do your thing, and I was just impressed with you. Steve Metzel, who threw footballs to me, and I remember just the practices, putting in the time just to be an athlete. But like the president said, this wasn't about football. This is about preparing us for life and the grit that I learned here. There are so many times I wanted to quit or drop a class. Actually, I did drop a class, and my father found out and said, you're paying for that class. That was a good lesson. True story. But sometimes practice was hard, and the teammates and Tim Flynn, can you stand up, Tim, please, real quick? Commander Flynn of St. Paul Police Department. A couple years ago, Tim called me and said, I'm so proud of you, Aaron. Let's go to a football banquet, let's do something. He goes, you're an All-American, you're All-Conference. He listed all these accolades. And I finally said, Tim, I love you, but you got to stop saying that. He goes, what? I go, I wasn't All-Conference ever. It's okay. He goes, what? I go, and I wasn't All-American. And he was shocked. And I said, it's okay. Life goes on. Tim has made it his life dream to get me into the Hall of Fame. And I know he's responsible. He won't tell me. So I thank you, Tim, from the bottom of my heart. You're like a brother. You gave me cheap shots after every practice or during practice. But you were my biggest cheerleader, and one of my best memories is after we had our last game, my senior year. We were down at Lions Pub in downtown Minneapolis, and they had these big TVs, and it was Channel 5, and I was up on the TV screen in the sports section, and I was running back doing a touchdown, and Tim was screaming, "Everybody stop! That's my friend on TV right there!" And I remember thinking, this guy is crazy, but he actually loves me. I want to say thank you to my former teammates. Thank you for the committee for inducting me into this prestigious hall, and I'm deeply honored, and I'm a Tommie for life. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alex Capron. Men's golf coach Matt Raichie is also joining Alex to present the award to the very first golfer inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Alex, congratulations on your nomination and induction into the St. Thomas Hall of Fame. Although I was not on the coaching staff during your playing career, fun fact if you can't tell, I'm admittedly 2 years younger than Alex is. It is clear the incredible impact that you've had on Tommie Golf. Every time I open up the record book on golfstat.com, your name is near the top of what seems like every single category. Career scoring average, rounds under par, counting score percentage, birdies, individual national ranking. You've set a benchmark for our current and future team members to strive to achieve. You motivate them every day. Having talked to Coach Proshek and Coach Deutsch several times in the past few years, your name often gets brought up, and there are many themes that arise. Incredibly talented, great work ethic, great teammate. To quote Coach Proshek from his tweet from a few days ago, Scott, I hope you don't care that I use these words. Alex is the first golfer in Tommie history to receive Hall of Fame status. Well deserved. He made everyone on his team, including his coaches, better. Helped move the program to national prominence. Proud to have been his coach. Alex, thank you for all you have done for St. Thomas Golf. Congratulations again on your accomplishment.
Thanks, Matt. I'll just say a few words here quick. Tough to follow that up, Aaron. That was special. I can echo everything that has been said before about being a Tommie. I've had the best experience, but ever since graduating, I think it's been even better. I'd like to thank my wife. I've got 2 beautiful daughters, my wife Elizabeth. We don't live locally anymore, but it feels like home coming back here. And she's a big part of that. She jumped on a plane at 6 a.m. with me this morning out of Philly, and I can't thank her enough for all the support that she's given me. And just the wonderful person that she is. I feel, like I said, at home here, and a big part of that is because of Coach Proshek. Funny story, I was deciding between this university and another Catholic school when I was considering coming here, and Coach Proshek was the most pivotal person in terms of getting me to come here. And it was just the way that he acted, the questions he asked, the guy that he was. So I couldn't thank Coach Proshek enough. I wouldn't have wanted it any different way than what it ended up being. So Thank you, Coach Proshek. I really appreciate it. Also, Coach Deutsch is here tonight, my assistant coach. Coach Deutsch has ties to my high school back in Rochester, Lourdes, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention his good friend, Tom Murphy, who was my high school coach. He was someone who brought me along. He has since passed, but he was very influential in my golf career and one of the greatest guys I ever knew. So thank you, Tom. Appreciate you. I'd also like to thank my friends who are here, my teammates. One of the things that's cool about St. Thomas that probably everybody has this story, but you know, my best friend sitting in the audience tonight, Jack Reeser, he was my teammate at St. Thomas. I wouldn't trade him for the world in terms of you know, who he is. I was the best man at his wedding last summer, and I can't again thank St. Thomas, the golf program, and everything that this place was to me enough. Finally, I'd like to thank my parents. My dad introduced me to the game when I was 5 years old. He, I think, was getting into the game himself and was a little bit perturbed when I beat him pretty quickly. But I can't thank my parents enough. I love you guys, and thanks for everything you did for me growing up. I can't thank you enough. Thanks, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Emma Paulson Foster. So Scott Blanchard is unavailable to give the speech. He's currently with his team over at the other D1 institution. I think they're over there. So I'm going to read his speech. Just pretend like I'm Coach Blanchard. My Coach Blanchard imitation is awful, but just go with it. Emma has a long list of accomplishments. A transfer from UW-Madison midway through her sophomore year, she immediately made an impact on our team. It was about 5:30 on a cold December morning, and the team, minus Emma, who had just moved into an apartment, arrived at the airport to fly to Florida for the start of our winter break training period. One of the girls had forgotten her ID back at campus. So the young lady called Emma, having only just met her, and asked Emma to bring the ID to the airport for her. So Emma found the ID, drove to the airport, and that lucky young lady made it to the plane as the final passenger to board the plane. A month and a half later, Emma won all 3 of her events at the MIAC Championships, qualified in 3 events, placing 5th in the 50 free, 3rd in the 100 backstroke, and 4th in the 200 backstroke. All of this off just a month and a half of training. As you all know, she followed that up the following year with the first ever individual event national championship title in the history of both men and women's programs. She was also a finalist for the National Collegiate Female Athlete of the Year, as well as a COSIDA Academic All-American in 2016 and 2017. These accomplishments only tell a small part of who Emma is. I could go on and on about how the team was her family. Her drive to the airport is just a small glimpse of the impact she made. Do you still have that ID, or did you actually? No? Okay. The lasting relationships and friendships tell the rest. Congratulations, Emma.
I'm going to try not to get emotional here, but it means a lot to see you guys here today, and really so honored to be here tonight with you all. I made a quick list of thank yous I just want to run through. First and foremost, I want to thank my parents, Bruce and Lori Paulson, right here, from getting me into the sport early on at a young age to cheering me on at every race. I truly appreciate all that you've done for me. Mom, you always said the best part of every meet was taking me home and at the end of every day, which really meant the world to me. I'd also like to thank my husband, who's also here today, Mitchell Foster. We met swimming together over 15 years ago in those early days of swimming. You inspired me back then when I used to watch you swim, and you continue to inspire me every day. I also want to thank my high school swim coach, Kate Lunston, who's here tonight. She was my first coach that really believed in me and really got me into the sport. Also, thank you for putting the pressure on me back in the day when I had to choose between swimming and dance. And perhaps most importantly tonight, I want to give a huge, heartfelt thank you to my St. Thomas family. This is funny because it was kind of referenced earlier during our president's speech, but truly St. Thomas were some of the best years of my life, not just because of the memories made in the pool. I'm truly grateful for the balance that was provided between academics and athletics. Transferring to St. Thomas allowed me to focus on my academics and prepare me to succeed in my future career. And above all, the community that I met across St. Thomas is one that I hope to carry with me my whole life. I'd like to give another special shout out to my teammate, Tiana, who's here as well. After I transferred, she was the one that truly helped me fall back in love with the sport. And without you, I don't know if I would have continued. So I'm very forever grateful to you. I'm very grateful to the entire University of St. Thomas swim team family. I love the team dynamic that we had. It was the best team I ever got to be a part of. Lastly, I want to thank my UST swim coach, Scott. I admired his ability to create a family dynamic across the swim team. He motivated me and pushed me to become the swimmer that I did, and I'm forever grateful to have been able to call him my coach. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame for inducting me tonight and for honoring me with this award. I'll forever be grateful for my time at the University of St. Thomas. Roll Toms.
Please welcome Katie Tyson Anderson. The cross-country teams are currently competing in the Summit League Championships, so retired women's cross-country and track and field head coach Joe Sweeney will present the award. Joe?
Katie had quite a journey. Considering she'd never run cross country in her life and ended up doing so well, it was just quite a little story. She had played volleyball in high school, and she came to us maybe 1 week into her freshman year and said, "You know, I'm really bored. When does track start?" And well, it doesn't really start until December. So she said, "Well, what can I do to stay busy?" And we said, "Well, you could stop by and try a cross-country practice just to stay in shape." And she ended up doing that, and she came, and my assistant coach and I were kind of intrigued because we knew she was a 300-meter hurdler in high school and probably had a little bit of endurance. Well, it turned out she did quite well. She was mixed in there with our front group of athletes, and we gave her probably a little more recovery than we did everybody else, but she showed pretty good promise. And after practice that day, we said, "You know what? Why don't you come back tomorrow?" And she did. She came back the next day, and now we're probably, she trained with us for about a week and a half, and we said, "Well, you know, what do you think about trying a race?" And she said, "Yeah, well, why not?" So we at some point we added her to the roster, and we added her in a big meet. It was the GRIAC meet, which is one of our biggest races, probably 400 people in there. And my assistant coach, Tim Springfield, who was pretty savvy, he said, "You know what? I think what we should do is give her a really safe pace, and so that she doesn't get overwhelmed." And she's out there with like 400 runners. And so I said, "Okay, let's do that." He said, "Let's give her a safe pace for like the first half of the race, which is a 6K race, so for 3,000 meters. little less than 2 miles. She was just going to run this safe pace, and then we'll turn her loose. So I said, that sounds like a good plan. So talk about setting someone up for success. So you could just see on her face like she was frustrated, like she's being held back, held back, held back. All of a sudden, it's like at the 3K mark, my assistant Tim was like, okay, go. And off she went. And she ended up, I think, probably 400 people in the race. She probably passed that second half of the race, probably passed 100 people. And of course, it was a positive experience. And we got done. I could still see my coach, my assistant Tim, talking to her, and I was looking over his shoulder and just kind of nodding. And he said, you know what, Katie, I think you could be good at this. And let's just say it turned out to be true, and he had set the hook. And she ended up, continuing her career from there, and I'll just read about the rest of her career. She took great pride in being that tough up-front runner for us, leading the Tommie charge. Her love for the battle and take care of business attitude helped us build a culture of high expectations that made everyone around her better. In the end, she led us to 3 conference titles her sophomore, junior, and senior year, made all conference 4 times, helped us advance to nationals all 4 years, and earned All-American honors twice. It's hard to imagine what our team would have been without her. I'm sure glad she stopped by cross-country practice that day. So that's her cross-country career. And that was just a part of her story. The next part is track, and I'll just read about her track experience. It isn't often that you have someone whose best events are the triple jump, the 400 hurdles, and the 3,000-meter steeplechase, but that was Katie Tyson. Mix in the long jump and relays, and she was one busy lady on meet days. Over the course of a 2-day championship meet, the challenge was, how can we best utilize Katie without killing her? To her credit, she loved to compete and wanted to do whatever she could to help the team win. Her coaches, Chad, Megan, and Tim, were routinely concerned about her workload, wanting her to be fresh for their events. Does Katie really need to do the steeplechase? That will tire her out for the 400 hurdles. And so it went. I would tell them, I'll talk to Katie, which I did. Of course, the answer was always the same from Katie. Coach, I'm all in. I would go back to her coaches and relay the news. I'm sorry, but she wants to do them all. What could I say? Who am I to deny her happiness? The strategy seemed to work in our favor. In 8 conference meets, she scored 263 points, helping us win 4 indoor and 4 outdoor titles, and was also a 4-time track and field All-American. And we have to talk about her academic achievements, which were incredible. Katie was a 2-time COSIDA first-team academic All-American and received 3 prestigious scholarships, the Goldwater, the Walter Byers Award, and the NCAA Postgraduate Scholarship. She was competing with the top scholar athletes at all levels for these, so this was an over-the-top achievement. She made the most of every opportunity during her college years and represents everything a student athlete should be. It's my honor and privilege to welcome Katie Tyson Anderson into the St. Thomas Hall of Fame.
He always was the best storyteller. So I have to admit, I kind of feel like an imposter here with all of you. We were over at the wall earlier, and I felt like I had to go up and etch a little asterisk next to my name because I kind of felt like I was just riding the coattails of my amazing teammates, some of which surprised me here tonight, which was amazing, and my amazing coaches. Coach Sweeney, he was he was probably my biggest cheerleader, and he always found a way to get, I feel like he always got me to do things that seemed like they were my idea in the end, even though they were his idea. He's very persuasive. And then Coach Robrand, who also surprised me here today, which was great. So I am so incredibly grateful to my teammates and my coaches, and I am so fond of all of you, and words can't express how much you all mean to me. I should thank my husband for being here and supporting me. He's been listening to us talk about glory days, the glory days all night, so thank you for being here and supporting me. One of the coolest things about being at St. Thomas was that I was able to overlap with my older brother and my younger sister while I was here for a little while, both of whom were incredible student athletes. My brother was in the 2016 Hall of Fame class, and so being able to compete with them and train with them and be there for their amazing accomplishments. I mean, it was truly something special and magical for our family that we'll have forever. And lastly, I should thank my parents for being incredibly supportive and crazy enough to send 3 kids to St. Thomas at one time, frankly. My mom specifically, my mom for 8 straight years was the St. Thomas sports superfan. She was at every event. You know, the ongoing joke in our family is that her mentality during those 8 years was similar to the Postman's Creed or the Postman's Code, which, you know, neither snow nor rain nor heat nor fear of night's stay will prevent me from getting to that St. Thomas preseason football game. So, I mean, she was always there, incredibly supportive. And I'll close by saying I am just so fond of this place. I am so proud to be a Tommie, and as was already echoed, I will be, you know, Tommie for life. So thank you.
We are very honored to have Tom Patchell, class of 1950, here to represent the 1948 football team. Tom, can you please stand? Let's hear it for Tom and the entire team for the 75th anniversary of the Cigar Bowl appearance. Congratulations, Tom. You still look like you could play, so don't let Glenn talk you into anything. Will the 2001 national title baseball team players please make your way up to the stage? And let's hear it for all of those players and the coaches. Accepting the award tonight, 2001 assistant and current head coach Chris Oline and 2001 assistant Huck Shields.
Thank you. Can you hear? I'm afraid I can't. Life is a series of adjustments. Congratulations to all the people that have been selected for this wonderful award. I've been to several of these, and I can't believe how amazing. Each person is more amazing than the one before. So here's a bunch of them. I'd like to talk just a little bit. I'm on a short leash here. we have developed a prayer that we used to call the baseball player's prayer. But tonight, it's everybody's prayer. Let's see. I think the first thing we have to do is if you would visualize in your mind's eye the positive sign or sign of the cross, if you please. We used to do this with baseball bats. We would make the sign of bats, and we did wood bats, and like my friends in Canada say, aluminum bats, fungos. But that didn't last long because we had a few prayer sessions in the hotels we were staying at, and it seems that somebody would make the sign and we'd end up knocking some lights out, so we don't do that anymore. Here it is. What we try to do in this prayer, and I'll be quick, is we want to ask God to help us to be positive.
Amen. Amen.
Hey, Mr. Q. I'm not this. Okay, I'll keep going. Okay. What we're asking God in this prayer is to help us to be positive. We want to be positive in our thoughts. That was a good one. I did that because in the case I had a thought, I didn't want it to get away from me. Thoughts in our words. I do this because I speak quietly, and I don't know if you can hear me or not. But anyway, you can? Good. We want God to help us to be positive in our heart.
Amen.
In our soul.
Amen.
There's Huck on the floor. And to attest to the power of prayer, turn on your TV, watch a pro baseball game, the series, the World Series, Conference Series, and to attest to the power of prayer. I am living proof of prayer. What's the test, you say? Turn on the TV and watch all the professional athletes going. Amen. Somebody took our prayer. Here's what we think about this prayer. We think it's the foundation when coupled with a lot of work. A lot of work. Nobody works harder than St. Thomas.
Amen.
You guys can play too. So, with all that work and the foundation, it helps us build what my friend Dennis called positive team personality. There they are. Come on.
Amen.
Parts of the prayer, 2 parts. The first part is we thank God for the time that we have together. That's us, that's you, that's us. Fleeting as it is, we thank God for the time we have together tonight, all of us. And for our times. Oh, I can't. You're not going to hear me, are you? I want to bring up our times that we all had together, starting in February to March to April to May 2001.
Amen.
Plus, because of, where's the doctor? No, I know you're a doctor. Well, because of a power just bestowed upon me by Dr. Phil Eston. Is he here? Oh yeah, remember you're going to give me a thumbs up? So it sounded like it was approved? Okay. I hereby pronounce that each of the players, here or not here, have now been promoted to the job of captains. Every one of you are a captain now. So I'd like you to say real quick, I'll keep talking. Shake the guy next to you, and you introduce yourself as Captain Kyle, Captain Scott. Yeah. Amazing. I'd like to say something to the team themselves, but I started that a little bit, and I won't take up any more time. But I would like to address the moms and dads that are here, the grandmas and grandpas that are here. We want to thank you. I want to thank you. We all want to thank you for sending your kids to St. Thomas. Dennis used to say that good kids come from good families. We as a group, we want to thank you.
Amen.
Thank God.
Somebody actually said today, I thought it was a really good quote, every team should have a Huck. And I can't say that enough. Yeah, absolutely. I was fortunate enough, this team was my first year as a coach. I was basically about the same age as a lot of them, played with a lot of them. It was kind of an interesting spot to be in. I knew a little too much, if that makes sense, in terms of what was going on. But I guess I'd be remiss to say I think we have to acknowledge Coach Denning. Obviously, he recently passed, and just to talk about his leadership and guidance, he's the architect of this. It's his national championship team. I was just lucky to be a part of it and kind of be on the coattails. But I think another thing that came up today, that I had a different story, but I'm going to tell this one, just to kind of talk about Dennis's baseball brilliance. We were playing a game in this particular season down at Gustavus, and out of nowhere, he decides to tell Casey Garvin he wants to bring in another infielder. So we bring an infielder in from the outfield in the specific spot, right in this one spot between short and third and 5-6 hole, and guy hits the ball directly to him. Like, you couldn't make it up. And that's stuff that Dennis did, where he was able to put guys in the correct spots to be successful. He elevated this program to the level that it did attain at the Division III level, and we celebrate this championship with Dennis in mind for sure. A couple of things for context. This was not an easy road to get here. My senior year in '99, we lost the national championship game 1-0. 2000, we got beat twice in the national championship game. And then finally, in 2001, they were able to kind of get over the hump and pull that championship down. And this team went through a lot to get there. It was not an easy road. It wasn't that wire-to-wire finish for this group. Actually, you finished third in the conference, which is unheard of for St. Thomas baseball at that point in time. And also leading into the conference tournament, we got swept at St. Olaf by a score of 13-5 and 18-5. A player from St. Olaf hit for the cycle in home runs in that particular series. And so it was not easy, but after that day, this team turned around and turned the corner and ended up beating St. Olaf to go to the regional. This was absolutely a team-first type of team. There was certainly some stars. You know, we had Jake Maurer drafted by the Twins. We had a freshman named Sean Lindstrom, who came out of nowhere and ended up being one of our better pitchers, had an ERA under 3. But ultimately, it was definitely a team. A lot of guys played, a lot of guys contributed. One guy in particular I thought would be a good guy to represent the pulse of the team, Brian Winnery. He was one of the better starters on this team. This year in particular, he didn't have the best regular season by his, I don't think, right? Fair? Okay. But when we got to the postseason, this is all that he did. He got to the postseason, and he had a 4-0 win-loss record, 1 save, 1.1 ERA, 36 strikeouts, 12 walks, and 33 innings.
Amen.
Pretty good, pretty good. But the story I want to share, and then I'll let Brian speak. This tells everything you need to know about Brian. So in the conference tournament, we were playing St. Olaf down at Dundas, and wasn't a great bullpen, if I remember correctly. I was in the pen. He was kind of looking to find it. Got hit around a little bit the first couple innings. We gave up a couple, and then he took a line drive off the face, like legitimately off the face, bleeding down his jersey, lips wide open. We go out there. We think he's going to have to come out. He won't come out of the game. He won't come out. And I kid you not when I say, for the remainder of the game, we threw all fastballs. Like, you could have gone like this, and they didn't hit it the rest of the day. He struck out, I think, 12 of the last 14 batters he faced and pitches the championship, just throwing it straight by guys. And that's with blood pulling down his jersey. And that got us to the World Series. So, again, that's kind of a representation of what this team was. So if there's anybody who can capture the pulse, I think it's probably Brian.
Really sorry about my voice right now. Check. Hopefully we'll be able to get a video of this, because my kids always think that I'm making all that crap up. It was all true. Thank you guys very much for the time. We appreciate it. It's been a long time coming. 8,186 days since we walked off the field national champs. I transferred that year. This was my first year at St. Thomas. So I was coming from a different perspective, and you could just see right away that this was way different. And we got to stand on the shoulders of, Chris, the guys that came before us, but there was no expectation of a conference championship or any of that nonsense. Like, we were here to win the whole damn thing. And that's obviously what we did. But from the start, you get your schedule, and you can see conference tournament, the regional, and the World Series is printed on the poster or on our schedule. There's no mistaking what the expectation was. It started in fall ball. I was brand new, so I'm looking to try to make an impression. I got to practice early the very first day, Saturday, first day of practice. And I get there, I'm the first guy there, or so I thought. I sit down, I put my cleats on, I grab my glove, and I see these 2 feet dangling over the front of the dugout. I'm like, what is going on right now? Barefoot, guy hops down, shirt off, tan, cut up, and he walks over to it, grab his stuff. I'm like, hey man, what's going on? Brad Bonine, who was the World Series MVP, had come home earlier that morning from the bar, and he didn't want to oversleep. So he slept on top of the dugout. Fall ball was intense. It was scrimmaging. There was the idea of competition is going to win the day, right? Iron sharpens iron. So we all were in it just from the start. The season started off really hot. Kenny Powers says, he has a great line, Kenny Powers. He says, practice is a crutch for the talentless. Dennis Denny never heard that quote. We practiced constantly. It was intense practice, but it made us all a lot better. So as we got into it, we started off super hot. We're the #1 team in the country coming home from our spring trip. I'm letting everybody that's listening know that we're the #1 team in the country. And like every hero's journey, we go through a little bit of a rough spot, right? Coach alluded to it. We get swept in a doubleheader mid-season. We lose a couple games. We got walked off on at our own field once. Like, you know, not great, right? I signed with the St. Paul Saints like 5 or 6 years later, and the kid that he's talking about that hit for the cycle was my teammate. He came up to me the very first time. He's like, "What's up, man? I remember that one day, hit that grand slam off of you." I'm like, "Okay, sweet, yeah." I don't remember that. What I do remember is rolling up to the conference tournament, taking that money. I remember rolling up to the conference tournament, or to the regionals, putting it on those fools too. And I also remember coming into the World Series and scooping it all up. That's what I remember. It's been a long time coming, fellas. The campus changes, the buildings are erected, and they come down and all that kind of stuff. It's unbelievable what the school has done. But we finally are home. HOF. Thank you. Yes.
A little late on the amen, but never late on a fastball, right? All right, well, you guys can all come off the stage. Take your picture down here, please. One more time for the 2001 national champs. If you want to learn, we're going to hear from the doctor who's bestowing everything on people, apparently, this whole evening. We're going to hear a little bit more from Phil Eston in just a moment. But if you want to learn more about the team and the winners, the university created a couple of videos complete with game footage years ago from both of these teams. Links to the videos are on the Hall of Fame website on TommieSports.com. These next announcements are for the inductees. Please return to the stage. Oh, those are mine. Yeah, that's all right. Thanks. I got you. I'm going to bring this up in about 7 years when we're at the Saints ballpark. Next announcement for the inductees. Please return to the stage immediately following the conclusion of the program for a photo for the entire class of 2023. You can also pick up your football game tickets and instructions for tomorrow's halftime recognition as you leave this evening. Okay, please put your hands together one more time for Dr. Phil Eston.
Thanks, Corbu. Let's hear it for Corbu. Has he done well tonight? You know, these things don't happen by accident. A lot of work goes on behind the scenes. I want to recognize Nancy Swanholm, Anne-Marie Grunhauser, and the team. Please give it up for Nancy and Anne-Marie. They put this together for you. Of course, our catering staff has been great tonight. Really appreciate all the work that went in with the catering. And then lastly, I want to recognize, before I finish with a few remarks, the current and past coaches in Tommie Athletics. I tell you what, I've been at a lot of places and been doing this for about 30 years, and I kid you not, we've got the best stable of coaches that I've ever worked with. They care not only about what happens in our competitive venues, but they more deeply care about the people that they're helping to develop and what happens in their lives post-competitive success at St. Thomas. And so help me thank them for everything that they do. Coaches, thank you so much. You know, this is always a lot of fun to come together to celebrate our Tommie student athletes and coaches and teams. You know, it's so nice to share memories. These memories are, you know, for you to share your memories with us, enjoy old friends, honor those who are no longer with us. It's really important to do. I'm grateful that you've all carved out time to share with one another tonight. You know, the many accomplishments of the class of 2023 are inspiring. Thank you for representing our university with dignity and with pride. Thank you for your sacrifice with early morning workouts, cold weather practices, long bus rides, and occasionally having to miss family and social occasions. I know how that goes. Your dedication to doing all of the little things shines as a beacon of comprehensive excellence and serves as an example for today's student athletes. I believe that any success that we're currently experiencing is because of the culture and the expectations that have been built over time by student athletes like those inducted tonight. Not only a culture of winning, not only an expectation to capture titles, but a sense that St. Thomas stands for integrity, for character, for work ethic, for service. St. Thomas stands for excellence. We don't simply pursue wins, we pursue that excellence in all that we do. I'm proud of our past. President Vischer talked about that tonight, extremely proud of that, but I'm equally, if not even more, proud and excited about our bright future because of all of you. I'm grateful and filled with gratitude to be in this room tonight with those of you who have contributed to our current culture of excellence. So thank you once again for being here. I hope you have a great time this weekend and celebrate all of the little and the big things that you accomplished. Roll Toms.